The streets of Giza, Egypt hold many secrets. Some are buried deep within the ancient sands. Others hide in plain sight. Qaddafi Faraj Abdel Ati, known as the Giza Butcher, was one such secret. He was a man who lived a double life, a master manipulator who preyed on the trust of those closest to him. In 2020, Egyptian authorities apprehended a man named Mohammed Suleiman. He was a suspect in a petty theft case. Little did they know, they had stumbled upon one of Egypt's most cunning criminals. The man they had in custody was not Mohammed Suleiman. He was Qaddafi Faraj Abdel Ati, a man wanted for multiple murders. Qaddafi's story is a chilling reminder that appearances can be deceiving. Behind his unassuming facade lurked a cold and calculating killer. This is the story of the Giza Butcher, a man who used charm and deception to commit unspeakable acts. His capture would send shockwaves through Egypt, exposing a trail of deceit, manipulation, and cold-blooded murder. Qaddafi's early life was remarkably ordinary. Born and raised in a middle-class family in Giza, he was the eldest of 3 children. His father was a government clerk, and his mother was a homemaker. By all accounts, Qaddafi had a normal childhood. He was described by neighbors as quiet and respectful. After completing high school, Qaddafi worked at his father's shop, assisting with customers and managing inventory. He was a diligent worker, always eager to please. However, Qaddafi yearned for more. He dreamt of wealth and a life of luxury, far removed from the simplicity of his upbringing. In 2014, Qaddafi saw an opportunity to change his fortunes. He decided to enter the lucrative world of real estate. Leveraging his family connections and savings, he started brokering deals, connecting buyers and sellers. He possessed a natural charisma that drew people to him. His clients trusted him, often overlooking his lack of experience in the industry. His early success in real estate fueled his ambition. He craved more wealth, more power, and was willing to take extreme measures to get it. This marked a turning point in Qaddafi's life. His desire for wealth would soon morph into a dangerous obsession, leading him down a dark and sinister path. Qaddafi's manipulative tendencies extended to his personal life. He was a master of deception, weaving a complex web of lies to serve his own selfish desires. At the heart of his deceit were his multiple marriages, each one contracted under a different name, each one a testament to his cunning and ruthlessness. His first marriage was to Fatima Zahra, a young woman from a well-respected family. They were married in a traditional ceremony in 2015.
I was deeply in love with Qaddafi, unaware of the dark secrets he harbored. I believed I was entering into a lifetime of love and happiness. Little did I know, my husband was a master manipulator.
While still married to Fatima, Qaddafi began courting other women. He would use different aliases, spinning elaborate tales of his background and profession. He preyed on vulnerable women, often those who were financially insecure, promising them a life of comfort and security. He married twice more, both times under assumed identities. Each wife believed they were his only love. His ability to compartmentalize his life, to maintain the facade of a loving husband to multiple women simultaneously, was astounding. He was a man of many faces, none of them reflecting his true nature. The first cracks in Qaddafi's facade of normalcy appeared with the disappearance of Nadine, Fatima's younger sister. Nadine, a bright and trusting young woman, had confided in Qaddafi about her desire to invest in a lucrative real estate opportunity he had presented.
I've seen your success, Qaddafi. I trust you completely with this investment.
She had witnessed his success and trusted her brother-in-law implicitly. Qaddafi, seizing on her naivete, convinced Nadine to liquidate her assets and entrust him with the funds. He promised her impressive returns, spinning tales of a luxury apartment complex he was developing.
This is my chance for financial security.
Nadine, blinded by the prospect of financial security, handed over her life savings. It was a decision she would soon come to regret. Weeks turned into months, and Nadine saw no return on her investment. When she confronted Qaddafi, he was evasive at first, concocting excuses and promising that the funds were tied up in legal processes.
Qaddafi, where is my money? You promised returns.
As Nadine grew more insistent, Qaddafi's demeanor changed. He became cold, distant, and threatened her to remain silent. Then, Nadine vanished. Her family was frantic, fearing the worst. Fatima, at this point still oblivious to her husband's true nature, tried to reassure her family.
Qaddafi would never harm my sister. I'm sure she's fine.
However, a seed of doubt had been planted. Nadine's disappearance marked the beginning of the unraveling of Qaddafi's carefully constructed web of lies. As Qaddafi's real estate ventures grew, so did his greed. He became bolder in his schemes, targeting wealthier individuals with the potential for a bigger payout. This insatiable hunger for wealth led him to engineer Reda, a successful businessman who had recently sold a prime piece of property.
This could be a great opportunity. Let's discuss further.
Qaddafi, using a false identity, befriended Reda, presenting himself as a successful investor with access to exclusive opportunities. He learned of Reda's recent windfall and devised a plan to relieve the engineer of his newfound wealth. He proposed a partnership for a luxury apartment complex, dangling the promise of exorbitant returns. Reda, impressed by Qaddafi's apparent success, agreed to meet and discuss the venture further. The meeting was a setup.
Show me the site. I'm eager to see the plans.
Qaddafi, under the pretense of showing Reda the proposed construction site, lured him to a secluded area on the outskirts of Giza. There, in the desolate landscape, Qaddafi's true nature was revealed. He overpowered Reda, striking him down with a blunt object and leaving him for dead. He then fled with Reda's cash and valuables, convinced he had committed the perfect crime. Reda's body was discovered days later, sparking a police investigation. However, with no witnesses and Qaddafi operating under a false identity, the trail went cold. Emboldened by his success, Qaddafi grew even more reckless, believing he was above the law. He had tasted blood, and his thirst for it, fueled by greed, would only intensify. Qaddafi's crimes escalated in both frequency and brutality. The disappearance of Nadine was not an isolated incident. His wife Fatima finally began to suspect her husband's involvement in her sister's disappearance. She confronted him, demanding answers.
What happened to Nadine? Tell me the truth.
Qaddafi, backed into a corner, saw only one way out. He silenced Fatima, just as he had silenced Nadine. Her murder was calculated, cold-blooded, and removed the only person who could connect him to Nadine's disappearance. Undeterred by his escalating crimes, Qaddafi continued his deceitful charade. He became engaged to a young woman named Yasmin, showering her with stolen jewels and promises of a lavish life.
This is the life I've always dreamed of.
Yasmin, blinded by love and the allure of wealth, was unaware that she was walking into a deadly trap. Like those before her, she would meet a tragic end, her life cut short by Qaddafi's ruthlessness. He then married Noha, a wealthy businesswoman. He manipulated her into signing over power of attorney over her assets.
I trust you completely, Qaddafi. Here are the papers.
He then attempted to sell her jewelry. His greed had reached its peak, blinding him to the possibility of getting caught. Qaddafi's reign of terror, built on a foundation of lies and fueled by insatiable greed, was destined to crumble. His downfall began with a seemingly insignificant mistake, an attempt to sell a piece of jewelry that would unravel his web of deceit. The intricate gold necklace, adorned with diamonds, belonged to Noha, his most recent wife. He visited a jeweler in a neighboring city, hoping to sell it for a hefty sum. The jeweler, a shrewd man with an eye for detail, recognized the necklace from a missing items report. He stalled Qaddafi, claiming he needed time to assess its value. Meanwhile, he contacted the authorities. The police arrived promptly, apprehending Qaddafi as he impatiently awaited his payment. It was a mundane arrest, a simple case of petty theft, or so they thought. At the police station during routine questioning, Qaddafi identified himself as Mohammed Suleiman, a name authorities were unfamiliar with. He presented a forged ID, confident in his ability to talk his way out of the situation. However, the arresting officers, experienced in the art of interrogation, noticed inconsistencies in his story. His nervous demeanor and his inability to provide verifiable details about Mohammed Suleiman's life raised red flags. The officers decided to dig deeper, unaware that they were about to uncover a series of horrific crimes that would shock the nation.